If you want that inspirational, turn your radios. Sit back, relax, catch the vibe, have fun tonight on the Four Corner Show. You gotta sit back, relax, catch the vibe, have fun tonight on the Four Corner Show. If you want that grounding inspirational, then turn your radio to the Four Corner Show. Hot and spicy topics, come enjoy the show. So let's get personal on the Four Corner Show. Relax, catch the vibe, have fun tonight on the Four Corner Show. You gotta sit back, relax, catch the vibe, have fun tonight on the Four Corner Show. If you want that inspirational, then turn your radios.
Welcome, everyone. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
I just got this burst of energy that I have no idea how long it's going to last, but I'm going to run with it.
All right now.
I'm feeling the spirit, Mark.
I'm not saying nothing wrong with that. Well, I mean, you're surrounded by so much celebration right now. I'm looking behind you, and you have an incredible
it's beautiful
backdrop.
back there.
Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
compliments of the Avery family in Georgetown, Texas. And this is beautiful. Yeah, so I thought it was appropriate for the season
Oh,
because
great.
Jesus is the reason for the season.
Yes,
That's
it
right.
is.
That's right.
So welcome, everyone. We're so glad that you're joining us right here on Four Corners with Pepper Thomas, along with Mark A. Walker and Michael Upshaw. We're here every other Tuesday, like twice a month. We do this platform for you, and we love introducing you to people's, places, and things. I guess I can say that. People,
Yes.
places, and things. So, as always, Michael Upshaw, how was your weekend?
My weekend was great. Of course, listening to the word, and between the word
And the football of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Eagles. That's right.
You see those already.
Yeah,
You know the answer.
I know the answer. As Lil John, I interviewed Lil John yesterday, right? Lil John Roberts, and he says, Pepper, the numbers don't lie. So go ahead and say it. The numbers don't lie because, yeah.
Yep. Hold up,
You're like, yeah, the numbers don't lie. So, yeah. Well, I'm glad you had a good weekend.
Oh yeah. How about you? How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. Every time when people ask me that, I have to think, what did I do? Because I do so much. I'm like, what did I do? So I did my show on Saturday. Oh, I did the tribute to Luther Vandross on Saturday. It was a great 3 hours of Luther Vandross music. And that was heartwarming and just nice to hear his voice, because I love Luther's voice and, his craft. But yeah, had that. And then played at church on Sunday and watched movies. And it's been good. It's been good. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. And Mark, what did you do?
I played all weekend. It was a good week, Church was Christmas cantata on Sunday morning, which was awesome at Greater Mount Calvary. It was a great event. Then Sunday evening, I was with Spur of the Moment at Keystone Corner, where our special guests were the one and only Carol Riddick, and on violinist was Chelsea Green. It was an incredible show. I can just say it was just an awe. I mean, I think because we didn't have the type of rehearsals that we would like to have had, and we have done this record. It was called, the record we did, the Spur of the Moment did was Soul of the Holidays, and we did music from that CD we did back in 2008, I think it was. And Carol Riddick, both from Carol Riddick and Chelsea Green are just awesome and talented women.
Wow.
And I'm hoping that we'll do a tour or something next year because they're just they're that great. And for them just to come in, no rehearsals with the band, they just really took it away. We were all in awe of them. So it was a great weekend. I'm just glad to have experienced that with them. And then today I get to hang out with Pepper Thomas and Mike Upshaw, and it won't get no better. How do you start your week off?
Amen.
With the great Pepper Thomas
The
and
one
Mike
and only.
Upshaw.
What's coming? What's coming? What's coming? I got to sit up for this. What's coming? I need to get on my high
That's it.
chair.
See, I'm being nice. See, that's it. The great Pepper Thomas and Mike Upshaw. See, that's it. That's
Wow.
I happened to see a taco building the other day, last night, and it says Taco District. It just they didn't put the 17 on it.
Oh, you mean the district that she's over, the 17th and a half district? Because everybody has a district, and certain organizations won't say their
She
organization
loves
name.
tacos.
That's an inside joke.
I love tacos because I is from Texas. Okay, we do tacos all the time, so I love tacos.
You teaching me something? I didn't know that. I thought it was all about steak and
It's all about barbecue and tacos.
barbecue. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Texans love tacos. We love flour tort. We had like the street tacos, which is tiny. We love it all. But yeah.
Okay.
And it's interesting. You said Chelsea Green. I'm interviewing her on my other podcast, the first Monday in January.
Yes, incredible.
Yes, I saw her with Mesa when they were in Texas, and she killed it. Yeah. So everyone, we thank you for joining us. We have some guys, y'all.
Yeah.
We have some guys. We got some guys. We got a whole bunch of
finest. Philadelphia's finest.
Philadelphia's finest. Like,
right.
Do you want to, you know what? Let's bring them on. And then since you're from Philly, I think I might be outnumbered with the East Coast thing. Is anybody from the South? No, that must be. You said no? You're the only one from the South.
South of Canada. That's about it.
Everyone, welcome Christopher, Brandon, Walt, Donald, Phil, and they call themselves Vertical Current. We'd like to welcome them to Four Corners with Pepper Thomas. Where's Walt? I did say Walt.
Walt's on there.
Yeah, his face is not showing, but I said Walt.
Yeah, I see Walt too.
I said Walt's name, but everyone, let's give them a hand clap for coming on Four Corners.
If you
Yeah. Hand
Intro.
clap. Hand clap.
Oh, dear.
So this might be the show that I just might sit out because I might be outnumbered today. I don't know if I can handle this. A lot of testosterone going on. I don't know. I don't know. We'd like to welcome y'all to Four Corners. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy to be here.
You're welcome. So did we scare you at the introduction, or do y'all still want to be a part of this?
Oh no, we're here.
Good.
We're good.
We in here.
Good.
All right.
Good. Well, have at it, Mark.
Well, I'm typically the one to ask all the first questions, so I'm just going to be real nice about this. Tell us a little bit about yourselves. How'd you came up with the name? Were there influences to start this? What you have right now, and maybe just give us a short story. Give us nothing's wrong. You can say whatever you want to say, however you want to say it. But of course, we know you're from out of Philadelphia. But tell us a little bit about yourselves. Just how this came to be.
I guess I can start. So I started the band in 2009, and I actually asked Brandon and for those who don't know, Donald is my dad, to be in the band like probably
I'm sorry.
6 months
is
before.
Christopher's a video on? I don't see a video.
I was about to say, I see his face, but I don't see the video.
It is on.
Yeah, Walt is not on either. Oh, I see Walt.
I see everybody.
I see Walt. I just don't see Christopher's face yet.
Yeah.
That's weird.
The screen is
Video?
black. I see you, Christopher, but the screen is black.
I don't know what to do.
Okay, well, just keep talking. We know
Keep talking.
the screen is Christopher where it says there's no face.
Okay. Maybe I should stop the camera and then start it back. Did that do anything?
No, it didn't do anything. You're fine.
Great.
You're fine.
We'll just give you a new name, Ghost Note. How about that?
That was taken. So yeah, I started the band in 2009, but I don't know, it was maybe 6 months before that. Was in Bridgeton, New Jersey. Melinda Pickett did a homecoming concert, and Brandon was on drums, and I never met him before, but him, so weird. I don't want to call him Don, but that's my dad, for those who don't know. So Dad, when I say that, I'm talking about Don. They had played together at a church, but I had never met Brandon. So, but I heard him play that night, and I was like, oh man, I'm thinking about starting a band. Would you be in it? And he was like, sure. I don't know why he said yes, because he didn't know me yet either. And my dad is a phenomenal bassist, so that was a no-brainer. And I asked the keyboard player, but we actually didn't have one for the first couple of rehearsals. So we rehearsed at my uncle's church, New Life in East Camden, and we just played a bunch of tunes that I had stored up on my computer over the years. And then one day, I'm not sure if this was before the first rehearsal or maybe after the first rehearsal, but I was praying, and I just kind of had this vision of people being drawn up to God, and I saw the words vertical current. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what to do with it, but I talked to my wife about it, and for some reason, I just had it in me to ask her, like, is this the name of the band? She's like, yeah, babe, that's it. I was like, all right, well, that's it. So I told the guys, and we just kept going with it. It just really started from there, the three of us, and eventually we got keyboard player, and then we kind of went through a few before we settled on a guy named Ollie Prawl, who was with us. Actually, no, before him, Brett Kennard, and then Ollie Prawl, who was with us till about 2014, which was around the time that Phil came. So Phil's been with us a cool decade. But that's the short version of it anyway. Anybody else want to chime in?
Don't all speak at once.
Okay, Don, why don't you, since we mentioned the word vertical, go more into depth on what vertical stands for.
Well, in my conversation with Chris after he announced that he wanted to name the band that, we kind of concluded that it was our connection, our vertical connection to God, and then our prayers as kind of a current. So it made sense. And we are all Christian men, all rooted and grounded in the Word. So it was important for us to be able to represent in every way, even in our name.
Absolutely. Well, that's awesome.
Love it.
Yeah. Well said.
So when you come together to do the music, is there any what's the concept of doing songs, and is there any style of music you're trying to stay in within a certain frame of, or you're just doing originals, or you're doing remakes? What is your concept when you are approaching the music?
It's a lot of I mean, when we come together and play, everything kind of comes from like us coming together and just kind of vibing out. Of course, it's original music. Chris may have an idea or something, and then we kind of like, I might hear it. I'm like, okay, what y'all think about this? I start playing a drum part or something, and we call him Funk Master Don on bass. He'd come up with a bass line, and then it just turns into a collaboration, and it just turns into something. So it's just kind of like how it's kind of cool how we can just be jamming out, and the next thing you know, we have a full out song, like in minutes.
So you would say you guys really are like one of a kind. You're not trying to fall. Some people try to fall behind a foreplay or Yellow Jackets, or how it does with certain bands. But you guys pretty much start from scratch on most of your material.
We're huge fans of those groups,
absolutely,
for sure. But we wanted to go the original route. We really didn't want to do the cover band thing. Everybody's doing that, and sure, that's an easy way to make money if that's what you want to do. But that wasn't really our initial goal, just to make money. It was more to make music.
Okay.
Right.
We definitely do some covers, though. We've got a few that we've recorded as well. Have done pretty well for us. But in terms of the influences, definitely Yellow Jackets, Weather Report, all the great fusion bands and stuff. I noticed that the name of your show is Four Corners, which is one of my favorite Yellow Jackets albums. But yeah, I think it's kind of near impossible for us to copy anybody, because we as individuals are so eclectic, and then collectively even more so. And so like the blend of ideas and styles that comes from us, it's just not one thing. And so I think that just makes it unique in and of itself. It's kind of hard to get away from that too. So
okay. Well, I'm gonna ask one more question because I know Pepper and Mike I'm about to take over. They let me throw mine in first, and then I'm in the back seat after this.
Right.
Are there any songs or any moments that you guys had that kind of like just sticks close to your spirit? You know, like sometimes you record a song. It's not always about it being the most famous song, but it just means that much to you, where you guys feel like you've got to play that song no matter where you go because it means so much to you. Do you have any material or any moments like that where there's a song that touched you, where like this is us? Never get Frankie Beverly had to play Before I Let Go because everybody had to hear that. Is there a song that you guys play that's just you feel it's connected to you as a person and the group? You have any music that?
I think for a while, and you correct me if you think I'm wrong, Chris, but I think for a while Alabaster was that song. It was a song that we connected with the audience with. We had a vocalist by the name of Limo, and Limo sang the lines that Chris played on the trumpet. And then it was a song that everybody in the audience could kind of relate to and sing along with. So I would say that was probably the more popular song, at least early on, in terms of a song that had to be played.
I think it still is. We still, even to this day, any show we play, for the most part, is Alabaster. For me, is I'm like a big fan of like Nuance, and man, like that's a great record for me. That's always a good a crowd pleaser and a good band song as well. There's just so many.
Yeah, I would add that definitely Alabaster. Sudden Inspiration always does something for me. Like I love playing that song. Like that became, if it was a today's favorite, it would be Sudden Inspiration. For the OG favorite would definitely be Alabaster, because that song, of course, was there before I came to the band, but it's been flipped around. I don't know how many different times, how many different ways we start the song, and of course, I like to act up and not do what I'm told. So it was perfect opportunity for me to say, hey, what about this? So yeah.
Nice.
You got something wrong?
For me, I would also agree with Sudden Inspiration, but I also would like to add something. Another song that we do that's on our current album is Trocadero. Trocadero, I'm sorry. And I just like the way that it came about. And it's sort of kind of how Brandon described us, as we just kind of really just thought up of something. We all started playing, and it just really came about, even up to the title, where we were playing at a venue, and Chris incorporated the name of the venue into the title of the song. So that's one that's kind of special. We don't play it as much, but that's one that's like kind of special.
This is kind of partially an answer to your other question as well. Sudden Inspiration was a song that came about while I was driving. And I was remembering a show that we had just done where we covered Yellow Jackets' Freedom Land. And it was like, love this song. Wish we had something like that was our own that we could play instead. And just in the middle of that thought process, I feel like God just kind of downloaded all these different parts to me. So it's like different voice memos of like, all right, the chord should be like this rhythm and the melody something like this. And I think the bass part is this, and singing the drum parts, and then just kind of having all this messy voice recording to like throw at the band, like, hey, can we do something with this? And I think that has definitely been one of the staples in our collection.
Well, since everyone seems to be talking about Sudden Inspiration, guess what I think I'm gonna do?
Play it.
I'm gonna play it. You get a Sudden inspiration. You get a sudden inspiration. You get a sudden inspiration.
Now, are you playing it on trumpet? How do you plan to go about this? I want to.
Oh,
No.
So what I'm gonna ask is, who just said that? Is it the ghost man?
I knew it was coming.
I can't believe
I knew that was
me.
coming. I knew that was coming.
And you know, Chris, you know I have control of this board, right? I'd be like, where's Chris at? Chris disappeared. I don't know what happened to Chris. What happened to Chris? Where's Mr. Patch? So everyone, this is Vertical Current with sudden inspiration right here on Four Corners. Did you like my trumpet solo? Not bad, huh? So whenever, and I mean whenever we need somebody to sit in, please call a sister, okay? Chris.
Wow.
You got it.
Phenomenal. Man, it sounded like some I have a lot of favorite trumpet players, man. I heard a little Clifford Brown in there. I don't know if you know about Clifford Brown. I'm not talking
Absolutely.
about some Miles, man, and some other folks, a little Lee Moore. I'm hearing a lot of different things there, but this song itself, man, is great. Absolutely. Hey,
Thank you.
I wanted to ask
Thank
you, considering that there are only about in the 70s, there were like 17 music genres in the 70s, and now we find ourselves in 2024. Believe it or not, there's 1,300 genres of music in 2024. 1,300, right?
Wow.
So now, in your opinion, whoever wants to answer, you all can answer this question. In your opinion, does this expansion of genres provide advantages for artists like yourself, or does it create obstacles for both the industry and new talent emerging today?
That's a good question.
I would think that, I'm sorry, go ahead, Chris.
You got it.
I would think that it probably creates a lot of challenges because the tendency is to kind of pigeonhole you into one place, and as a musician, I don't want to be pigeonholed. I don't want somebody to tell me that I can just play blues, or I can just play jazz, or I can just play funk, or I can just play rock. What if I play it all? And I think that that's the drawback to the ideology of having so many different genres. I say bring it back to two: good music and not so good music. It makes it simple, I think more people will fit in the good music category.
Yeah, I think that I was going to say, I think that it creates challenges also because, for example, just thinking about our projects and different things that we have coming up, it's like, when you talk about like Grammy submission and things like that, it's like it became a challenge trying to figure out how do we enter the songs that we have and in which category does it fit, where it's like, well, we can't really say this because we're not that, but we do this, but not every song is the same. So it's kind of like, well, so I know that was something that we talked about in the past year about those types of challenges when it came to like submitting and then trying to figure out, well, where do you fit in,
I think in general, though, it's not an issue because who knows that there are so many genres and what they are. I think the audience has no idea. You know what I mean? I think they just know what they like, and there's like a handful of things. It's like, oh, this is pop, this R&B, but who's really sitting around saying like, I don't like this because it's not pop? Like, you either like it or you don't. And so I think it really does just boil down to music that you connect with versus music that you don't connect with, whether you think it's good or bad or whatever. But I don't think that, like, in general, people are like, all right, you fit in this category. They don't know where to put us. I think that is probably more the issue, that they don't know where to put, different artists or whatever. And when it comes down to like Grammys and things like that, that's an ever-changing thing that they are, figuring out from year to year. So and it's not, I don't think that it's like a genre issue per se. It's just, it's a category thing at large. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I don't think that they're being all of those genres identified today. Because if you look at it, all of those genres have a root genre, and like that's really what they are. Just somebody got particular about, they do it this way in this region. They do it this way, in this year, as opposed to that way. But like rap is still rap, whether it's mumble rap or old school hip hop. I'm like, are you rapping or aren't you rapping? Do your lyrics rhyme and is it to music? You know, it's still rap. It's just like, you know, but we've had these subgenres. I think the subgenres is where it gets interesting, you know, but that's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else?
I just think overall it gets a little difficult trying to like describe or try to put somebody in a category or to put a certain artist in a category. I think that, you know, like we all everybody stated, like, you know, good music is good music and that should be the overall. But, you know, just and like Chris said as well, just to have these little subgenres under these big genres is not, it's making everybody, I feel like it's more of like an acceptance thing or being receptive of what, you know, what else is new and who's doing it differently. But at the end of the day, it's all, you know, just like we said, either rap, rock, gospel, pop, funk, jazz. So that's pretty much my take on it.
Mm-hmm. So now, if you were pushed up against the wall and someone asked you to classify your music genre, what would you, how would you describe your music?
There's so much going on in this music, man. Seriously, we got a little bit of funk, we got a little bit of fusion, we got some swing, we got some, you know what I'm saying? We got all, you know, swing. We definitely got some, man, we do a lot of stuff. New Orleans, we got some vibe. We got some different vibes. It's just so much that it's kind of hard to put. We're going to have to create a name. Like how Chris made a crocodile, we're going to have to create a name. Seriously, it's hard to pinpoint our music. Play so much stuff. And that's what I love about this band, because we play, everybody have their own. It's just so much that everybody brings to the table. It just, it's hard to, man, it's hard to see what we would, like what category would be. Like we have to make up something.
I wish you could take a picture of y'all right now, because y'all all look confused when you asked that question. It was like asking the fifth grader to explain how the song was made.
I was going to say, because of negative connotations, I wouldn't call it confusion, because it would be like the like or like, you know, the connecting of the different styles in fusion, like confusion. But then but then I'm not saying it. I'm not walking around saying I'm confused. So
no. You know what? It's a good problem, because when I was listening to your music, the first thing that came to mind was, y'all remember Sting when Sting first came out. There really wasn't a style of music they could put him in, right?
Right.
And I'm disagreeing with what Donald, the father, said earlier. His music was so good, people listened to it, and they had to come up with a category for him. But he wasn't going to stop singing his music. He wasn't going to stop making it the way he made it. And people enjoyed it. And as long as you keep doing, because what I really heard, and the song just played was, even though y'all said that was supposedly we just come together and get it, that was a very orchestrated, song. And the transitions were like, that's your style. It's like Philadelphia. This is how we vibe in Philly. We play what we're feeling. And you represented music very well, because you didn't play the label game where they want you to stay within a certain parameter, so it won't be genrenized, my new word. But it's just good music. I think that's where we've lost with all the 1,300 genres. We didn't know how to name stuff instead of just saying it was just good music. And sometimes I don't think you can put a label on certain things. I think it is what it is. I think it's original music, and I think that's where the category should have just been. With a lot of the stuff with labels, just this is original music by people who live in Philadelphia. You know what I mean? Versus trying to say jazz, R&B, and blues, because you guys, even when you played it, it had a swing to it.
Yeah.
Some of it had, you know what I mean? You got to the funk to it. Yeah. So you can't really put it in a category.
Right.
You know, they gave Chuck Brown Go-Go because he was in DC, but it's not really a category. You guys play original music the way you play it.
Right.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes,
that's what I heard in my ears. So
absolutely
appreciate it.
And you know, there were some things in that music, and I think Don would probably know about this group. I heard a bunch of things, but do you remember, Don, a group called Cold Blood?
Of
With
course.
Lydia Pence?
Of course.
And I heard some of that in there, but I also heard some of some Snarky Puppy and some, there's so much happening, you know, which is different. It's different. And because like a lot of the music today, Pepper and I have had this conversation. I've had this conversation with Mark. One of the things that kind of bothers me, like back in the day, and I, we're sharing our age, Don, but you knew who Teddy was, you knew who Lou Rawls were, you knew who Luther Vandross were, you knew these singers, Donny Hathaway, Marvin Gaye. There didn't have to be any music behind their voices. When they sang, you knew exactly who it is. Today, it seems like a lot of the singers are starting to sound alike. And you got to like, well, who is this?
Right.
All the tenors and, you don't have the big baritone voices anymore. Those, those voices like Eddie Roberson and a lot of the singers, are starting to sound like the same runs. There's nothing too much difference.
No distinction.
Different. And there's no distinction, at all. It's like, so what are you doing? Like, don't you have that creativity that you can't find something, to separate yourself from everybody else? Is music that hard?
I think that the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, there was a lot of original stuff. But I think at the end of the 70s, things started to change. And the producers wanted you to make whatever the other guy was making that was successful. And as long as you could sound like him and be successful like him, you helped pay the bills. That was important at that time. Prior to that time, there was Sly and the Family Stone. There was all these other individual bands that were doing whatever it was that was in their head and in their hearts. And the people accepted it. And the people loved it. I remember James Brown used to put out a record every week, seemed like. And we would go to a party and dance to that James Brown music, and it was just a bunch of vamps, but still, it was funky, man. And nobody else was doing that. So I think that that's a big problem in the current landscape today. Like you said, everybody sounds the same. If you line up 10 of those singers, 10 female singers, 10 male singers, you're going to have a hard time getting individuality out of them. And I'm not saying that they're not good singers, because a lot of them still are really good singers. But I think that most of this is perpetuated by the industry and not necessarily what they would do if they had their druthers.
Yeah.
I think that that's probably pretty accurate, except I will also add to it that our access to talent is different now. So you might find a one of a kind more easily back in the day because you don't have access to the other 30 people that sound just like them. I saw Trombone Shorty live in New Orleans, and it was by far one of the best live shows I've ever seen. Right. But being in New Orleans, I recognized that, what he's playing is New Orleans style music. This is what New Orleans sounds like. But when you hear him in Philly, you're like, nobody sounds like this. This is great. It's like, well, there are other people who sound kind of like that. He's the one who made it. So you hear him in other places, but he has a local sound. You know what I mean? Flow Rider sounds like Florida. Like, that's the sound of that place. If you go there, there's a bunch of people who sound like that, and they're not copying him. That's just the sound of the region. So a lot of people who sound along the lines of like a Jill in Philly. Like, it's the sound. She is the one that everybody looks at, but it's the same thing with Louis Armstrong. It's like, he's the one who took the baton and got famous for it. But before him, there were other people. You mentioned Buddy Bolden on the interview with Phil Lassiter, Bubba Miles, all these different people. And like, they had the sound of that region, of that time, and everybody wasn't exposed to it, but there's such an oversaturation. So now you hear a bunch of people, and yeah, they sound like, first of all, because they can all hear each other, you know, but second of all, because you're hearing so many more people as opposed to back then. It's like, all right, like, where else am I going to hear Stevie Wonder? Like, I have to go see him live. This isn't on YouTube, you know, but it's different now. Like, everybody has that access. I think that access point has changed things drastically.
Social media do that to you too, man. It's like this. It's a new era, man. Like playing, like just listen to records. Like I'm on the radio coming up here, like just driving is like every record after record. R&B is just the same production, the same claps, 808s, same. I mean, like I said, nothing wrong with that. It's just the fact is just, you know, I missed, like I said, I'm a big fan of studying music. I was able to play even torn individually with artists that my family and people that grew up on, and like, you know, actually playing people that play actually live sessions. And so it's like it's a different thing, man. Like I said, so when it comes down for us, when we create art of VC music, it's like we come from so many backgrounds. You know what I mean? Everybody worked with we individually worked with so much. We got so much inspiration from the people that real artists that we work with, and like so when we come down to when we get together in our group, in our hub, and our rehearsal, we take everything that we learn from each that and kind of bring it together, and it's like we just make it's like man, it's like it just comes out. It's like unique. I mean, we just have it's like a unique sound that just kind of like okay, we don't sound like this. We don't sound like Snarky. We don't sound like Ghost Note. We don't sound like so. You know what I mean? We just know how to bring a sound together because of the information that we all bring. It's kind of like okay, it brings something different and unique to the ear, man. That's why I think this is special with that, and special with this VC situation, and that people can't just pinpoint like oh they like this. You know what I mean? It's a great thing, man. Seriously.
Well, I think another great thing, Brandon, is you guys have a Christmas album.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So why now?
Why now?
Why now? Why now?
Why now is because, well, actually, I'll tell you a story. We have developed a pretty good relationship with the people over at Fox 29. And they've asked us pretty much every year for the last 6 or 7 years to perform for their Christmas show that they do. Yeah. And so we made all these different arrangements. And it was like, oh man, we should do something with these arrangements. And I was actually talking to somebody about like us booking some Christmas shows or whatever. And I was like, well, if we're going to do a Christmas show, we should have like a Christmas project to go with it. I was like, well, we got the tunes. And currently I am this year's artist in residence for Community College of Philadelphia. So we actually were able to partner with them and do an album. We did it in less than a week. Actually, the session with the band was 2 days. And then like post-production stuff was like a couple days. And then they mixed and mastered it and got it to the distro people and turned it around in less than a month. So that's really why now it's just like, all right, we think that we have enough. But the funny thing is we actually didn't have enough because we needed to do all stuff that was public domain. And so it's like, oh, so we can't do this arrangement that we have or this arrangement. And so we ended up doing some of them on the fly at the studio, which was actually really cool.
Okay. Well, let's play a song from the project entitled A Vertical Current Christmas. And I want to play Hark the Heralds Angels Sing featuring Shayla J. Stevens.
All right.
Yes.
That's my wife, y'all.
That's your wife. You like, oh, everybody's okay. Let's do this then. Y'all, this is brand new music by a vertical current with a vertical current Christmas. Here we go.
Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Joyful all ye nations rise, join the triumph of the skies. With angelic hosts proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Hail the heaven-born Prince of Peace. Hail the Son of Righteousness. Light and life to all he brings, risen with healing in his wings. While he lays his glory down, more than men no more may die. Oh, born to raise the sons of earth, born to give them second birth. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Glory, glory to the King. Glory, glory, say glory, 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 glory to the glory, 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 glory to the King of Kings.
Beautiful. Love
Thank
it.
you.
Love it, love it,
Thank
love
you.
it. So I have 3 questions. Let's do the first one, the quickest, okay? So I need to know from everyone, what instrument do you play? And if you would say your name before you tell me the instrument.
My name is Brandon Mullen, and I play drums.
Okay.
Don Stevens, bass.
Walt Nash, percussion.
Bill Collier, keys.
Chris Stevens, trumpet.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, guys. Second question. What is the best part of working with your dad? And Don, what's the best part of working with your son?
Best part of working with my dad. Well, he is literally one of my best friends. So it's nothing like working with somebody that you're that close to, that you can have your own kind of musical shorthand with. And we have that, you know. He taught me much of what I know. So I'm just connected to the birthplace of that for me, you know, every time we play music together. And then it's just fun. I mean, he's a great bassist, and I don't know, there's so many great things about it. I just love working with him.
Okay.
For me, it was kind of awesome in the years that I played very actively to kind of have your own roadie built in. And Chris went everywhere with me. He went to the studio with me. I played in a band called D4. You know of us, Mike. He was on one of our first studio sessions.
Oh, wow.
As a young teenager, blowing trumpet. So he went everywhere with me. He was my mini-me for sure. And the opportunity now that he's grown and on his own and doing great things. For me to be included is an honor for me. It really is.
Nice. Okay, the last question is, and this is for anyone. What is your take on as far as the arts for kids nowadays? Because arts is taken out of a lot of the schools. A lot of people aren't doing live instrumentation. They're going to the computers, programming everything. Is it a lost cause, do you think, in the time that we live in now? Do you think that live instrumentation is going by the wayside?
I think so. I mean, I think, yeah, I think again, a lot of schools. I'm big on just music programs from the students and kids. Man, I just want to see. Like, I'm actually this week doing a music clinic / thing for a school in Philly, just to kind of encourage that more with them and myself performing with a few.
You there, Brenda?
Phone is freezing up.
Someone else have a take on it while he's coming unfrozen?
Yeah. I actually am was also working for a youth program. Um um and it just seems like for whatever reason funding funding has become an issue when it comes to having the different programs. And so it's I think it's great when you do have kids that when you it's a great thing to have the kids that actually want to be a part of something. But then you have to kind of go through so many things just to get funding for it, where it's like, well, if you don't do this, then sometimes it makes it more challenging to get supporters, different grants and different things like that. I think I see a challenge in that aspect. Um, um, and it's definitely not the same from when I was in school. It was like, you're excited. It's like, hey, my friends played an instrument. I was like, oh man, I want to do that, and but now it's like, you know, you don't really, I don't know what exactly to call it, but it definitely it's gotten different, and you just see more and more, the arts affected. And like I said, I don't know if it's a funding thing where it's like, more entities are trying to say, all right, well, we don't have funding. What can we do without? And for whatever reason, I guess they start with art,
Yeah.
art and fine arts for whatever reason, you know.
Yeah, which is really sad because I believe arts is important. I think it's one of those important things when kids are learning as they're coming up. I mean, I had arts when I was in school, played the piano, played the clarinet, and it was necessary. It was really necessary.
Yeah, I
And
think
if I might just add a little bit to that. Growing up, I lived in a neighborhood where there were bands all over the place. You would go to somebody's house and there'd be a band in the garage. So many parents were able to keep an eye on their children, know what their children were up to, know what they were doing, because I had a garage and they were out there in the garage and they were playing music. So no, they weren't running around the neighborhood getting in trouble. And I think that that's a big part of what we have going on, especially like in Philadelphia. You got kids running rampant, but it's that they don't have anything else, or they're not being shown anything else to occupy their time and their interests, except for what they see on social media.
I think, unfortunately, we are sacrificing experience and certain intangibles for the sake of convenience, and I say that, like, even this is not music, but it reminds me of what I'm saying. I remember going to video stores as a kid, and the experience of walking around and browsing and selecting a video and taking it and having to rewind it before you, like, it's a whole ordeal, you know. Or like you go to the record store, it's like it's a whole ordeal. And now it's like you just go to your phone and everything is there and nothing is really special. It's just everything is there. It's just like the world threw up and you have access to everything. And so I feel like if we take the arts away, then we lose certain experiences, certain abilities to communicate, and things that, you know, we should have regularly, you know. And we're just kind of trading it in for like, all right, well, you know, you can't do music but just work all the time. It's like we're just creating workaholics and like no real outlet. And it's like all these kinds of things that can happen as a result of just taking away just something like music. Music to me is a very precious thing. You know, it's one of those things that you don't have to have an audience for. You don't have to have anybody else with you. You know, you don't even have to have an instrument. You can create music all by yourself with nothing but yourself. You know, like how special is that? You know, and to tell somebody, you know, that, hey, because that's the thing, you're not stopping them from exploring that on their own by taking it out of the programs. But what you're saying is it's not that important. You know, you'll have advanced programs for math, and math is important, but I took calculus. When do I use that? You know, it's basically a class on how to use a scientific calculator. You know what I mean? Like, when do you use that? You didn't teach us about taxes, but you taught us about calculus. You know what I mean? I'm like, so what are your motives and what you're saying is important? You know what I mean? And why are you saying that this isn't important? Because everywhere you go, there is music, there's some kind of art, you know, and it's necessary. It's important to us as human beings, even though we might not be able to identify in what ways or exactly why.
Wow. Thank you for that. Very profound. I thank you guys. It's coming up on the time because I know that some of you have to go. We thank you for coming on Four Corners. Mark and Michael, did y'all have anything else to say?
No, just want to say thank you. Thank you for sharing your music, your knowledge, your point of view on your style of music, because sometimes people can hear bands and hear musicians play but don't know the story behind it, especially the creativity side of it, which is very important to us when you're when you're recreating songs or you're making songs. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Mr. Walker, I don't know if you remember, but we did a session some years ago, Larry Colbert.
Larry Colbert is one of my closest friends, and when you said something about the keyboard player from York, Pennsylvania, used to play with you, I think you said Brett. Yeah, I knew Brett when he was. I'm very old. I knew Brett when he was born. Because I went to high school in York. I'm from the Virginia, D.C. area, but I went to high school in York, Pennsylvania. So I know his family, his aunt, his mother, everybody. I knew everybody. I knew Brett when he was diapers. Yeah. That's how old I am. I'm a very old 57-year-old man. But yeah, I do remember that session. Yeah, Larry has been. I knew Larry when he was. Well, Larry was 5 years old when I met Larry.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, I want old man
too. Yeah. Thank you all for coming on. I know you all have to go, and you've been a blessing. I wish you the best whatever that you're doing, music wise. I'm going to support you 100%.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And Don, you know we're going to be in contact with you as well.
Okay.
And hey, hopefully, you know, you guys and Mark and all of us could get together, Dexter, and put something together. You know, we wanted to do a special tribute. Dexter and I had been talking about for Daryl Johnson. You know,
beautiful.
And so we're working on that now. And so maybe this is what we need to do is contact you all. We hope we can see if you guys want to be a part of it. Music is in the making. Okay.
Oh, one last thing. One last thing. Are you guys performing anywhere anytime soon? Is there a website? I know Pepper is gonna throw that in there, but are you performing anywhere? Are you performing soon?
Yeah. So the next thing that we have coming up, we'll be appearing on Good Day Philadelphia for on Christmas Eve, and also for their Christmas program on Christmas Day. Our next live performance, we are performing for a James Brown review at the Showboat in Atlantic City on January 4th.
Wow.
So that's the next couple of things that we have going on. We do have a website. It's verticalcurrent.com. And we do have merch for sale if you want to get some apparel. And that's all there on the site as well.
That's great. January the 4th.
January the 4th.
Okay.
It's going to be a funky good time.
All right.
All right.
All right now.
All right. Well,
You
Mark,
ready to say Pepper? Pepper about to say something. Go ahead. You muted your own self. No, I would know what you just said. What did you just say, Pepper? What you just say?
I was talking to myself because I was trying to, he was giving the website, right? So I'm over here typing. I'm like, oh, let me put it in the comments. And then I go, oh, it's in the private chat, so it's not coming up. So it went to the website, and I was like, no, not the website. So let me type it again. I'm trying to multitask.
Okay. I was just messing with you. You know,
I know you were. My
Christopher,
ear was open.
Pepper typically mutes me every show, but I'm glad you're on the show because she says she's gonna mute you first. So I'm the one that normally gets muted first. That's why I gotta get my punches and figure of speech with Pepper, because Pepper will mute me in a minute. You hear me? She just she never mutes Mike. Mike is the nice guy. He's like the Halo angel when the war starts. So Mike, no, he's smart enough to stay out of it. Yeah,
I keep a bottle of oil.
Mike's the wise one. Mike, that's the wise one over there. That's the wise man right there.
I did want to say also, congrats on the house that Pepper built.
Oh yes,
yeah, it's pretty dope.
Great project, yeah.
What? Yes. Wait a minute. Hold on. Y'all caught me off guard. You caught me off guard. So, okay, who was that? Was that Chris?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And see, he would have said that if you had muted him, no one would have heard it. Aren't you glad you didn't mute him? This is a nice guy.
Thank you. So you enjoyed it. I'm glad. It's a beautiful work of art. It really is. Yeah, it was a surprise. It was a birthday present. It was a birthday gift, and I knew nothing about it. It took them a year to get it together. So I'm still in awe. Like I can't. Some days I don't process it. I'll be like, what? Yeah, okay. I got an album. They did an album. Yeah. So it's beautiful.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
Oh, so you have to tell them the compliment about the guest last night. I didn't tell them who it was.
Oh, yes. So the compliment last night, I interviewed on my other podcast, the Hot Pepper Show TV on YouTube. I interviewed Little John Roberts. And so we were talking and I was like, yeah, during the interview, because, he forgets some things, which is uncommon because he remembers everything. So he forgot the name of his group on his project. His name, they have a group together. It's called Sun Wolf. So he says, it's Sun, and I go, Wolf? And he says, oh yeah, Sun Wolf. And then it's time for me to tell him about the podcast for today. And I said, I got a podcast tomorrow, Four Corners with Pepper Thomas, along with Mark A. Walker, Michael Upshaw. And I says, and the guest is going to be vertical.
Or you could say the name that's at the top of the screen.
I'm sorry. I said virtual current. And he says, vertical current, Pepper. And I go, excuse me. I said, you messed up on the name of your group. You didn't even know the name of your group. It was Sun Wolf. He says, okay, yeah, we have to help each other. So yeah, he helped me yesterday going, it's called vertical current. I go, okay, yeah, so yes. So Little John said that you guys, y'all, he loves y'all. He said they are.
We love him too. That's family.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He said Philly's own, of course, against the Dallas Cowboys and Philadelphia Eagles, we had to go through that. And he says numbers count. Numbers count. Dallas has nothing. Philadelphia has everything. So yeah.
I got to clarify one thing though. What'd you say?
You see Phil's shirt? He has a green.
He sure does.
Oh yeah, Phil.
It's a Philly thing.
It's a Phil.
It's a Phil thing.
It's a Phil thing.
Okay.
I like that. Okay, so what were you getting ready to say, Chris?
I just wanted to clarify.
Do I mute your mic? Do I mute your mic or do I not?
Perhaps you did.
I did.
But no, just real quick. We definitely represent the Philadelphia region, but I'm from Camden, New Jersey, born and raised. Walt is a Delawarean. Brandon's from Trenton. Phil's from Camden. I think might be Camden from another planet. You know, now my dad is the original Philadelphian, and he was born and raised in Philly, but he lives, you know, obviously in Jersey, where he raised me. But yeah. So I just wanted to shout out our hometown. That's all. Make sure we show.
I only live in Delaware.
All right now.
I'm a Philadelphian as well.
Oh well, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I was
I'm from
going
Texas.
to ask a quick question, and before we left, because Pepper was going to give $100 to one of you, whoever, to let you know that we have something in common. Somebody on here has something in common with me, and if you had guessed it right, you get $100. Right, Pepper?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, but
is this
okay,
a cold
so
guess or is there a
I'm going to give it a hint.
Chris, like, is it a
I
cold?
played in the band with
I'll
your
say
partner.
one hint: Froggy Bottom.
Froggy Bottom.
I'm out.
Walt's like,
I
all
don't know
right.
what they mean.
I'll give you one more hint. You got to get this one. Walter Rand Center.
Oh, Transportation Center.
Yeah.
So, are you from Camden?
Yeah.
All right.
Really?
My Cash App is.
I know that's right. Okay. Michael, his Cash App is. Michael, his Cash App is. Oh, but we thank you guys so much. Merry Christmas. Thank you for this beautiful Christmas album.
Merry Christmas.
It is it's a breath of fresh air. It's not the typical, Christmas music. You're like, okay, sounds like the other Christmas song, and that sounds like so you did a great job. Just like Eric released his Christmas album on November 25th, his first Christmas album, and it sounds different. So both of you guys thank you for giving us that for 2024, so we can take it into next year and the years after.
Thank you so much.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome. You're
Mark,
welcome.
you
So
can introduce the next guest.
Oh, that's right. Me looking to the calendar, I forgot what day they're coming in January. These are friends, right? January 14th, we will have the one and only from the Washington, D.C. area, Mr. Philip Carter. And then 2 weeks later, I'm sorry, is it 2 weeks later?
28th.
28th, yeah, 2 weeks later.
2 weeks later.
28th, we'll have Mr. Phil French, who's a saxophone player. He's from the DMV area, but he lives in Texas now. They're our next two guests that will be coming on the show. Phil Carter's a not just local musician and singer. He's a minister of music. He's also he's the guy that brings the DMV together to honor those musicians and singers and choir directors. It's an award show that he gives, banquet he gives twice a year, and he's an awesome dude. It's a show that no one wants to miss. These next two shows are shows you want to see because these are awesome brothers in the Lord, but they also do things outside the realms of the church that impact everybody.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
January 14th and January 28th.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you all again.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you. Thank you.
Happy New Year if we don't speak to you before the New Year. So Happy New Year also.
All right. Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New
first,
Year.
brother.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you
That's right.
guys.
Jesus is the reason. That's
Absolutely.
right.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you guys, we thank y'all for joining us. See you guys next year. Next
right.
year.
All right.
It's going to be
All right.
2024 is going to end great, and 2025 is going to start even better. So
That's right.
Amen.
see you guys next year. I'm trying to find this song. That's how you leave.
If you want that inspirational, turn your radios. Sit back, relax, catch the vibe, have fun tonight on the Four Corner Show. Sit back, relax, catch the vibe, have fun tonight on the Four Corner Show. If you want that grounding inspirational, then turn your radio to the Four Corner Show. So let's